called Traditional African Recipes by Rosamund Grant. Today's recipe is fish and okra soup. So the ingredients that we're going to need are 2 green bananas, some butter or margarine, 1 onion, 2 tomatoes, some okra, smoked haddock or cod, some fish stock, a fresh chili, and then salt and black pepper and parsley for garnish. Okay, it doesn't say how many servings or anything like that, but I'm sure you could always adjust for how many people you want to cook for. We've had to take a few liberties with the ingredients. So for example, instead of the 2 green bananas, we are going to be using white potato. We still have our okra. We have our tomato and our fresh chili, and we do have onion and of course butter. But we decided to add garlic because the original recipe is a little bit short on seasoning. So we have our garlic, and we added, in addition to the salt and black pepper, we've got paprika. The fish stock we are replacing with chicken stock because we couldn't find fish stock. And then of course there is our butter, and we've got our haddock fillet chopped up into little pieces there. So here we've got the chopped potatoes just boiling a little bit before we start adding the other ingredients, just to make sure that they're soft and are not too hard by the end of the cooking process. Next, we're going to take the butter and get ready to saute our next batch of ingredients. We're going to put the onion and garlic and tomatoes in here and saute them until they're soft before we add the okra and the haddock. The recipe doesn't actually call for us to saute the haddock, but we're choosing to do that just out of personal preference. So gently sauteing in butter. I'll just turn down the heat. Here's the tomato. And then we're also going to add in the seasoning, the salt, pepper, black pepper, and paprika. I'll add some of it. I'll let it mix up, and then I'll add in more as I get this incorporated. Okay, we're just about to add the okra next, but if you're wondering what happens with the potatoes, we just cooked them a little bit and strained it off and have it to the side to add in at a later step. Okay, so we're adding in the okra. And we're going to gently fry, as the recipe calls for, gently fry for an additional 10 minutes. So after more than 10 minutes, we've just been letting this fry gently, continuing to stir because we don't want it to burn. At one point, we had to add, or I made the decision to add a little bit more liquid because it dried up and those tomatoes got completely decimated. So just 2, I don't know, maybe 2 regular spoons of some of the chicken broth, just to add a little bit of liquid back in here, but it's kind of going already. In any case, we are going to now just test if the okra is cooked through. So I just got a fork and you just poke it, and it goes in pretty easily, so it's good. Remember, we have to still cook this with the broth and everything else, so it's good that it's not too mushy, but it is cooked through. Okay, now the recipe calls for us to add in the fish and the chili, the rest of the seasoning and the broth, but we are going to add in the fish now so that it has a chance to fry and absorb some of the flavors that are here before we add in the other things. So we're just going to do that. Okay. My heat is halfway between the minimum and medium, so it's really not that high at all. This fish is pretty soft, so I'm going to be very careful moving it around. We're now moving on to the next step. We're going to add in everything else, so the chilies, the remaining spices that we had left over, because we only put in half the first time, the potatoes, and the chicken broth are going in. We cooked, as you can see, there's more liquid in the pan than there was before, so we had this sitting a little longer than originally planned. So the recipe calls for us to simmer this with the broth and everything for 20 minutes. We're probably going to reduce that time a little bit, maybe 10 minutes or so, and then we're going to finish up. It'll be ready. So we're just going to add in the chili. Remaining spices. Some potatoes. Whoops, potatoes. And then I'm going to add the broth in just a second. The fish is falling apart a little bit, but so overall it's maintained its form, so that's not too bad. The smell is not bad at all. It smells okay.
I think it smells nice.
Yeah. Nice colors. So there was, before the potatoes, there was a bit of red and orange and the green of the okra. And then now we're just mixing in the other stuff. It smells good. I feel like maybe I put in too much butter because the smell of butter is just still quite strong in my nose anyway. Okay, going in to add the chicken broth. So the recipe called for 3 1/4 cups. We've got a little bit more than that, but that's okay. So I'm going to bring it to a boil, and then I'm going to turn it down and simmer, as I said, for 10 minutes or so. After 20 minutes, here's the finished soup. This time we are doing another recipe from Traditional African Recipes by Rosamund Grant. Today, it will be coconut chapatis. So according to this recipe, we are going to need 4 cups of flour. We will need a half a teaspoon of salt and 1 1/4 cup of coconut milk, as well as oil for frying. In the bowl that I have here, I've already combined the 4 cups of flour with the salt, and all I have left to do is add the coconut milk. I'm questioning that is going to be enough coconut milk for the amount of flour we have, but we will give it a shot and see.
When I'm kneading, I like to knead in the sink, and I like to put a lot of the liquid into the bowl rather than pouring a little bit at a time. Show you what the bowl looks like after the dough has been kneaded, so it's pretty clean. Okay, so we finished kneading the dough, and as it asked, or as it stated, break it all up in 9 even pieces, and that's what we have, 9. So now we're going to take it onto the counter surface, and we are going to roll it up and make our chapatis or chapatis. What is it called, Jim?
Chapatis.
Chapatis. All right, we're going to make our chapatis. We've placed some flour on the surface, and that helps the dough not to get stuck onto the countertop. And I think we're going to need some more. So we have one going in the pot right now in the frying pan with the oil, and I'm just treating this as I would if I were frying what we call in Jamaica fried dumpling. Okay, so I'm just treating it like I would if I were making our Jamaican fried dumpling, which is really delicious. Okay, so we made an error in the process, and what we should have done is brush the dough, the rolled out dough, lightly with oil, and then place a little bit of oil, and then brush, what is it, Jen?
Brush the pan.
And then brush the pan with some of the oil. We don't have a brush, couldn't find our brush. Keep a mental note to buy one, and so we're using paper towel. Okay, so Jen is gonna cook the rest. So she's added the oil onto the dough, and she's brushed the pan, and let's see what happens. So tell me, is this from the book, or is it from the actual cooking? It is the actual cooking. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. And this is the, we ate some, it's so good. And it really does taste like, if you cook it the way with the oil in the pot, it tastes just like the Jamaican fried dumpling. And yeah, so this is going to taste differently because it's softer. But I haven't tasted it yet. We haven't tasted it, so I'm going to wait till everything is ready, finished, and then we're going to sample it. The soup is ready. Okra and fish soup. Go ahead, Jen. Try and tell me how you like it. Do you like it? How's it taste?
It's okay.
It's okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Just potato and broth. The broth's all right.
Mm-hmm. The broth is okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And here is the chapati. Nice and crispy. Not too crispy, not too overdone. Okay, so we're going to enjoy.
Will you try it and say what you like about it?
Not bad. That's really good. Quite tasty. You should try this. It really is tasty.